Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I am joined by my co-host Dopey over here. How was your week, my friend?
My week so far has been
terrible. Great to hear. So my week in sport has been fantastic. As we'll go, we'll delve into it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, my favourite listeners. We'll be delving right into the great news that's happened this week. Unlike his news, which may some positive, but mostly negative and depressing for him. But who doesn't love that? So what's the first topic you reckon we should jump into, my good old friend?
Let's start with the NBA, get it out of the way. Obviously, if you didn't know, I mean, some player may have been traded this week. He's not really that good, so I don't know why someone would want him.
Oh, yeah, why would somebody want him?
But yeah, well, obviously Dallas want him, so Dallas now have Kyrie Irving on their team to pair with Luka Doncic, and they gave up, as Flight would say, they gave up two pairs of socks, an apple and an orange for him. So
yeah, well, so it's great news for the NBA world that the Lakers are in the mud again, and obviously he's a Lakers fan if you've been watching the podcast for a while. Staunch Lakers fan, and the thing that Oscar does...
What Lakers fan?
Staunch.
Staunch.
Means like you're in the trenches, you know?
Yeah.
What did you think I said?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't understand
I've never
English.
heard that in that context before.
So essentially, if you don't know Oscar, he does this sort of routine, right, where he loves a player, if he likes a player or loves a player from another team, and they come to either his rival or they don't come to the Lakers once they're considering the Lakers. He throws not a tantrum, I would say, but he throws probably a tantrum in his head, and he says to himself, "I cannot show any love to this player anymore. I officially hate this player." So he was begging. You don't see this guy every week. Trust me. He was begging beyond all belief for Kyrie Irving to come to the Lakers, and lo and behold, it does not happen like he did with Paul George. Paul George, one of his favorite players, had many of his shoes. Goes to the Clippers. Doesn't know him. Well, who's Paul George? Same deal that's happening here.
Who is he? I don't know.
Who is he? Same deal that's happening here. Kyrie goes to the Mavs.
I never wanted Kawhi either. Fuck that guy.
Oh yeah, you never wanted Kawhi either. Yeah, same deal. So yeah, it's a very interesting sort of topic. Now, a lot of people have said, well, does Kyrie help you win the championship if you're the Lakers? Probably not, because you're
Lakers.
Yeah, well, because your team as a whole is still terrible and injury prone. But it's still a bad move for you because you've got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, what are you holding on hope for? Now, the Mavericks saw it and said, you know what? Let's push for it. Let's get this deal signed, sealed, delivered, and Kyrie Irving is theirs. What is your first reaction to the trade when it went down?
My first reaction is just Brooklyn, worst front office, franchise, whatever. I don't care in the history of the NBA.
Because they didn't trade to the Lakers.
Just in general, the history of trades they've made are just all terrible. I mean, the big three in Brooklyn, just one of the biggest debacles of all time in sports, you could say. The James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving era. We still don't know if Kevin Durant will remain on the Nets. He could still possibly be traded at this point as well. I do think they're no longer contenders. If you even still thought they were at this point, I think now they're no longer contenders. For the Mavericks, I think it gives them a chance. I mean, that's what I was going to move to in the next point. We'll get to that later. But I mean, the West is so wide open. If Kyrie and Luka get on a massive hot run at the right time, they could easily win a series or two. So I think it's a good move for the Mavs. They were kind of sitting in no man's land at this point, just sitting from like 6th to 10th, floating in and around that area. And this is the first opportunity Luka's really had to play with a superstar caliber player in their prime.
Well, I'm of a differing opinion. I actually think it's a lose-lose trade. Just for the simple fact that I don't think he works with the Mavs, and I don't think he stays beyond this season, really. He's a ball-dominant player like Luka, and I think they needed a dominant wing or a big man to go with Luka. I think you cannot have another ball-dominant guard, to pair with him, because I just don't think it works. And defensively, I mean, that team's going to be a joke. They got Christian Wood. They give away their best defensive player in Dorian Finney-Smith. And Dinwiddie's a really solid defender as well. So they got Kyrie, Luka, Reggie Bullock, Christian Wood,
Maxi Kleber.
Defensively, that's not really setting the world alight. I think they're going to be sort of a terrible defensive team. so to speak. So yeah, I have no clue why they pulled a big time trade off for this guy. If you're going to pull off a big time trade and give away all your assets, don't do it for Kyrie Irving. And they didn't give away much, but they still gave away a first that could be valuable if they were to go for another star.
Well, Cuban wanted the jersey sales. You know, there's never stars in Dallas. You got to take advantage.
The most important thing is keeping Luka and making him happy long term and making him happy long term.
I think this does keep him happy because it shows intent that they're willing to.
I don't think he cares about intent. I think he cares about winning.
Well, he's made it clear that he wants superstars on the roster with him.
Yeah, but is Kyrie Irving the right superstar to put alongside him? I don't believe so. And from the Nets' perspective, I mean, like you said, what does Dinwiddie do for you? You're in two minds. Does Dinwiddie help you win a championship? Not really. Does it sort of glue temporary holes? Yes. It doesn't do much for you. You're either competing for a title or you're tanking for a good draft pick, and that's the way the NBA works. And if you're sort of...
Well, I mean, the Nets, they've still got a big three, realistically, with KD, Dinwiddie, and
Ben Simmons. So, yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
I mean, you do forget that guy exists at times, but...
I just think from a three-point standpoint as well, from a shooting standpoint, I mean, who can shoot on that roster apart from KD? Patty Mills can shoot, but he doesn't get minutes.
I mean, well, Joe Harris and Seth Curry are meant to be good.
Yeah, but I just don't... They don't start in their lineup. They're going to have to switch a lot of things up. Dinwiddie is a volume shooter. He's not really a dead-eye sort of catch-and-shoot kind of guy, which you don't need him to be if he's a point guard. But you look at that roster and it's just not very... I don't think it's very spaced. I don't think there's enough...
I mean, Cam Thomas is the next Kobe.
Yeah,
Bryant,
again, volume shooter, and I think he's just getting minutes because KD's resting. I don't know. I just don't really know where the Nets are going with this. I don't think it helps them for the future. I don't think it massively helps them out for now. I think they got worse for the now, and I think it hasn't set them up for the future, so I don't know what the move has done for them. I think if you look at a different trade, you may trade for a raw young player and some firsts, or you can trade for an experienced veteran that can help you win right now. But I think this trade hasn't really done either for them. And I think KD, this is going to push KD even more to want to trade out. I mean, if you're KD, why do you want to stay there? Now, he's the idiot that signed a long-term contract there and thought, I can just trade myself out of it if I don't want to be here. But no.
Well, yeah, that's the difference between KD and Kyrie. KD has already asked for a trade, but they were like, no, we actually want you here. But if Kyrie asked, they're like, yeah, fuck off, mate. We don't want you.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. I think the Nets should trade away Kevin Durant at this point. Now, I think they may be sort of contradicting that previous trade for Kyrie Irving because I don't think Dinwiddie is a future player for them at all. If you're going to go down the tanking route, so look, it's interesting. Phoenix apparently got in touch with Brooklyn for KD, and that'd be an interesting trade to sort of set up. I don't know how it'd work because I don't think that the Phoenix Suns. Do you think
I assume Chris Paul just goes to Brooklyn? Oh my god!
What do you think?
Sad way to end his career.
Well, I don't think even Chris Paul. It'd be a Chris Paul revolving trade. I think Chris Paul. They'd want to keep Chris Paul in Phoenix. I think it'd be more for DeAndre Ayton.
But I think Brooklyn would.
Would you demand Chris Paul? I mean, oh no. Well, this trade is a no.
They need
but
the
Chris
salary.
Paul.
Well, they need to match the salary. So I think Chris Paul would have to go. And probably Ayton as well.
Yeah, well,
I
think Phoenix is a bonfire, and I think if KD wants to go to a team, he should not go to Phoenix. I think that should probably be at the bottom of his list. So yeah, I don't know what trade gets done for KD. I don't see him going anywhere really because the Nets value him way too high, and the other teams can't meet it because it's just be a bad trade for them. So yeah, look, I think KD's kind of stuck there for now, and the Brooklyn Nets have just gone from potentially contending or being a wild card contender to not contending at all at this point, in my opinion. I just don't think they're going to contend. I think with Kyrie and the head coaches, it was looking like it was all working really well with KD. And even though Ben Simmons wasn't playing fantastic, he was still, a solid player in a starting lineup. And they had a they had a good win streak going. That I think they were all going in a positive direction. Sorry. But then Kyrie Irving asked for a trade because he's not getting an extension immediately after he had like 10 games without a fucking story in the newspaper.
Well, apparently they linked his contract to winning a championship or something.
Well,
And
yeah, the Brooklyn Nets
he wasn't
rightly
happy
were
with that.
like, we don't want to extend you. You've put this basketball team in disrepute multiple times this season by your stupid comments, either or stupid actions. Sorry, within the team or outside of the team. And yeah, they're like, well, if you win a championship, we'll extend you. But if you are just gonna wallow around and you're not gonna compete in the playoffs, or you're not going to do well in the playoffs, and you're not going to succeed in the playoffs, then why would we extend a guy that's a massive risk long term because of personality issues? So, look, I just think the Nets were in a bit of a tricky situation, but they could have got a lot more for Kyrie, or a lot different package for Kyrie. It doesn't have to be value in terms of more, but it has to be a direction that's a lot clearer than Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, well, I mean, from what I heard, there wasn't a lot on the table. I think the Clippers made an offer, and then obviously the Lakers made an offer. But it's like, do you want Westbrook? Is Dinwiddie's probably better than Westbrook at this point?
Yeah, but I think the Clippers would have given. I think the Clippers option would have been better. I think they would have given up a guy like Terrence Mann, who is not the best player in the world, but he's decently young.
They would have given up John Wall, surely.
Well, yeah, it would have been guys like John Wall, but it would have been guys like, you would have included Terrence Mann, a young player that has potential, even though he's a bit older side of young. He's, I think, early to mid-20s.
And he's just kind of mid.
And he's mid, but he at least has some prospect. He could improve. He has shown flashes, so you could take a gamble on him. So I think a team like the Clippers, even though it's not slam dunk massive prospect, you could bet on a lot of the younger players that the Clippers have. Brandon Boston is another one the Clippers have, who's a young, talented player who's a bit raw at the moment. But you can make those kind of gambles if you're going for a rebuild, which I think they should at this point. But yeah, getting Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, I just think is such a, I hate to use the word, but it's a mid-move. It's just, you're not...
And they lost Markieff Morris.
Oh my God, how dare they?
Everyone's forgetting that.
But yeah, I think the Clippers had a lot of assets that they could have given up for Kyrie, and probably would have. But I think, I'd imagine the sticking point was Norman Powell. I think the Nets would have wanted Norman Powell for Kyrie, and I think the Clippers would have said no to that because of how well Norman's playing at the moment. Or they would have been completely stupid and asked for like Paul George or something, and they were like, oh yeah, sure, let's trade him. So yeah, I don't think it would have been the best package available. I just think they made a bad decision because they think they can still compete.
Yeah, and I think it was just a spite thing to not go to the Lakers. So that rules them out. Because,
I mean, Kyrie's just been singing about the Lakers the whole time, and the owner's like, you know what? Fuck the Lakers. You're not going there, buddy. I'm going to make your life a misery. I wish you would have sent him to, like, Charlotte or something. That would have been so funny.
Why would Charlotte want him?
I don't know. For a second round pick, you could go to Charlotte, buddy. So yeah, I think something like that would have been probably ideal for the Nets owner, but he had to send him to a contender because contenders were really the only ones interested. But yeah, I think they could have got a much better deal from other teams than the Mavericks. But look,
a lot of pressure on Christian Wood now. Like, he has to deliver because they need some sort of inside presence.
But he's such a, again, I don't like using the word because you've put it in my mind now, but he is a mid player. He's just...
I think he's good offensively.
He's decent, but he can...
He can give you 20 a night.
Well, he can give you 20 and then give you 10 and then give you 20 and then give you 10. I think he's got a very versatile offensive game, but he's not consistent enough with it. He doesn't have that dog in him to consistently put up 25, 24 a night and be a second fiddle or even a third fiddle to a championship team. So, yeah, look, we'll see how Kyrie Irving fits with the Mavericks, but I think it stinks of desperation and it doesn't have I don't think the fit is as good as it could be.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. Obviously, two ball-dominant players. But, I mean, we've seen stuff like that work before. Houston with Harden and CP.
Did it work?
Well, they were very good.
But they didn't win.
They didn't win, but they were very good.
I think CP's a lot more pass-heavy than he is. Kyrie's a scoring guard. Luka's a scoring guard. I think CP's a lot more willing to pass the ball than either of those guys. I know Luka's a great passer, and he gets high assist numbers, but I think he's kind of is a ball hog at times. I don't think Chris Paul is. So yeah, I think it's a different situation. But look, I just don't think the fit works. I think it's a bad move for Dallas. I think if you're going to go all out for a player, maybe go for Kevin Durant. If you're going to go all out for a guy, I think he fits a lot better. Defensively, I think he's a lot better.
I don't think they could have traded for KD. They would need to give up their entire roster except for Luka.
Yep. What is that roster? How good is that roster
Well,
really?
you can't play an NBA game with only 2 players.
The Lakers seem to be doing it every week, so I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, that's the Kyrie Irving situation. Obviously, he's a bit sad about it because he thought the Lakers were going to get him.
No,
But
I'm actually like,
we didn't get him now.
I've seen enough in recent weeks that if we stay healthy, we can be a threat.
No.
We can be a threat.
You're the 13th seed.
If we won that New Orleans game, I was going to come on here and say, I'm calling it now. We're going to win the championship.
Yeah, you're calling it now.
With a straight face. But I'm not going to say that at this point. But I definitely can see a scenario where we scrape into the playoffs and win a series.
Wow, what a great.
Especially if we get Memphis or Sacramento in the first round.
I don't think you're beating Memphis. I don't think you're beating maybe Sacramento, but you'd get luck of the draw to get Sacramento. You're either going to face the Clippers, the Warriors, the Nuggets. You're not going to face
some of these teams are going to miss. I mean, it's so wide open, and they're all the teams that you would have expected to be good have had turmoil at the start of the year, but they're all starting to find their feet now and come back.
The Lakers aren't. They're the 13th seed.
Yeah, but I mean Clippers, Suns, Mavericks.
Yeah, but I think there's a different
Warriors.
situation. Those teams have had injuries. And the Lakers have obviously had injuries, but they're predictable injuries. Those injuries happen. I think other teams, you expect them to stay healthy. Now that Clippers are injury prone as well, but I think that the Lakers are a lot more dependent on Anthony Davis than the Clippers are on, Paul George or Kawhi. Because I mean, the Clippers went to the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi Leonard, so I think those teams are a lot better set up to deal with the star players gone because of how good their depth is. I don't think the Lakers have any depth whatsoever. So I think it's just you'd have to be extremely lucky. You'd have to have no injuries for the rest of the season and then draw Sacramento and then Memphis in the second round. You'd just have to completely luck out. Which
Anything's
is probably...
possible.
I don't think it's possible, though, to stay
I think it is.
injury-free. I don't think that's possible for the Lakers, no matter how much you say it. So,
well, one thing that will happen for the Lakers this year is LeBron James passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring record. Now, as we record this podcast, the Thunder game's about to kick off. I think he's currently 36 points behind, so there's a chance he breaks it today. Or he could do it in the next game, but definitely in the next 2 games, unless he obviously gets injured. Touch wood.
so you don't need to. It'll happen anyway, no matter how much wood you touch.
But yeah, I mean, LeBron James passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, massive achievement. Obviously, no one thought it would be done really before, maybe until like 5 years ago when people were like, oh, LeBron's actually close here, he might do it. And now a lot of people are saying no one's ever going to do it again, which I don't know. I don't know about that, but I do think this record will stand for a long time.
Yeah, it'd have to be... Well, obviously the league is trending towards more point averages, so I could imagine a player...
But also playing less games.
Yeah, well, but I think the thing with LeBron is it's going to be so hard to overtake him and his number that he gets to because he's basically, apart from the last couple of years with the Lakers where he's had a couple of niggles here and there, he's been completely injury-free his entire career, and he started from day one, from 18 years old in the NBA. And he's been averaging 25 points plus for 18 years straight. So it's going to be very tough for someone to beat him just because of the amount of games that he's played and the amount of points that he's accumulated on these games. Being he hasn't had the highest average ever, but like Jordan's got like averaging 30 a game, but LeBron's significant amount of averages. I think JJ Redick mentioned it. It was like 3rd all time in terms of scoring average as well. So. Yeah. To play the amount of games LeBron has and will play, he looks even better than ever offensively in terms of his range of offensive skills at the moment. He's a better jump shooter than he ever was. So yeah, I think he's going to continue doing it. It depends how long he plays for, obviously, but I don't see anyone in the NBA now that's going to overtake him.
No, definitely not. So yeah, obviously when a player like LeBron breaks a record like this, obviously the GOAT debate comes up once again, like it does every year. But a lot of the younger people I'm seeing are saying, okay, this puts him over the edge. Finally, he's better than MJ. But if you're like above the age of 50, you're probably not of that opinion
because you put Elgin Baylor in the top 3 or something.
So yeah, a lot of the old heads still won't put LeBron up there.
Didn't.
Which is I guess their opinion, but it's probably wrong at this
point. It's a bad
point.
opinion, yeah.
I can't see how LeBron isn't the GOAT at this point.
Well, look, I think that the GOAT debate is a very tricky one because even I, still in my mind, even though I never watched Michael Jordan play live, I still think, in the back of my head, who I want in a one-off game, in a Game 7, in terms of mentality, in terms of a competitor on a basketball court, I think I'd still take Michael Jordan. Just because of, the Last Dance might have swayed me.
Maybe for one game, but I mean...
Yeah, look, I think it's definitely 1 and 2 between Mike and LeBron. I think anyone that says otherwise is either biased or stupid. And I think, obviously, Charles Barkley came out with the list where he had, like, LeBron 7th or something, which was stupid. And Bill Russell ahead of him. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you have Bill Russell ahead of LeBron James, I mean, you're so biased because you can't be, even stupid people wouldn't pick that. You'd have to be so completely biased. And I get they grew up watching these guys and idolizing these guys, so their view on them is a bit warped. But I mean, come on, Bill Russell shot 40% from the field. I mean, let's be real. As
a center,
he played in a league with 6 teams, and all the best players were on his team. It's like, well, he won 11 rings, yeah, because he had all the half decent players. The rest were milkmen. So let's be real here.
Is it even a ring if there's only 6 teams?
Yeah,
it's more of a, I don't know. It's like a pencil.
It's like a Christmas party at the end of the year. It's like, here you go. Here's your present.
It's like a bowl of chips.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is Hassan Whiteside would be top 5 of all time if he played in the 50s, according to these old heads. So let's be real here. I just think that Bill Russell is criminally overrated, and that's no disrespect. Obviously, he's a trailblazer for the game, but you've got to separate it. You've got to separate it in terms of the greatest player of all time. You cannot put guys like Bill Russell, Elgin Baylor, Oscar Robertson. You can't put those guys in the same conversation as LeBron James. It's just impossible to do it. And I think LeBron probably is the greatest player of all time in terms of he's the most complete player of all time.
When I look at the two of them, the only thing I can say Michael Jordan is better at than LeBron James is a mid-range jump shot.
I think defensively he's better.
Oh, LeBron in his prime.
Mike in his prime won multiple Defensive Player of the Years.
LeBron in his prime was also the best defender in the league, though.
No, I wouldn't say he was. There's a lot more specialist defenders that were better than him.
He's good defensively.
Well, I'm just saying I'd pick Michael Jordan as a one-on-one defender. I think Drew Holiday is the best defender in the league, even though he's not that big. But I still think I classified a great defender. It's not based on like stats or whatever. It's based on your ability to defend one-on-one. I think Michael in his time was probably the best at doing that. It's not like Rudy Gobert with his fucking inflated
stats. But when you look at rebounding, passing, finishing at the rim, three-point
offensively, shooting. It's obviously, like I said, he's the most complete player of all time, no doubt. It's just how much do you account? It depends what attributes you account to being the greatest player of all time. Do you take it literally in that sense, like in terms of you count the attributes that he has better than Michael Jordan? Is that how you count the best player of all time?
That's a part of it for me.
Or do you base it off games that he played, or historic games, or clutchness, or mental sort of attributes as well? So it's a very sort of difficult, because people forget, I mean, even though Michael didn't have early success in his career, he had nobody around him like LeBron. But LeBron
took horrible teams to finals.
Yeah, but he also was known as a historical choker in those finals, and had terrible fourth quarters. So early in his career, he wasn't the best fourth quarter player. So I think that's a sort of blemish on his record. Now, I'd probably still put him second, but it's a very tough sort of debate to have, because I think your mind...
He's got to be one.
Yeah, but...
He's got to be one.
It doesn't have to be one, though. I don't think you should be criminally... you should be charged for saying either one. I think if you pick Michael or LeBron, I think your opinion's fine. But if you pick anyone else, then it's stupid. I just don't know. It's a very tricky one. Obviously, Michael Jordan had historic performances, but also LeBron did. I mean, I think that a lot of people's minds changed about LeBron after those 2016 finals, where he just had 3 straight 40-point games, or
40-point triple doubles, or something.
40-point triple doubles to rescue his team back down 3-1 against a 73-win team. I mean, that's historic performance.
Yeah, and all respect to Michael, he was not playing against the 2018 Warriors.
Oh, he's playing against great teams,
but not that great. That's like the best team of all time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he played against probably lesser competition in the playoffs and in the finals, but but also he won 6 in a row, which is unheard of. We essentially won 6 in a row. Obviously, he had the break in the middle, but he had lost when he first came back to against the Magic. But still, he basically had 6 championships in a row, which is just so hard to do and basically impossible. And it's not like the competition was terrible. I mean, he faced great Jazz teams. So he faced Magic and the Lakers in his first championship ring. So there was multiple good teams that he played. It's a tough one for me because I didn't watch Mike live and I've watched LeBron for a very long time. But I just think early career Jordan.
But early career Jordan didn't do anything.
Jordan didn't win anything.
He didn't do it until Scottie Pippen arrived. He didn't even win a series.
Yeah, but look, it's a tough one. It is a really tough one, and I'm torn with it. Let us know in the comments what you think. Obviously,
If we get one comment, that solves the debate.
That solves the debate. So if you want to be the one that solves the debate eternally for us, then you can be the one to do it. So I'm going Jordan, and you're obviously going LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron all
Now,
day.
if LeBron never played for the Lakers, would you still go LeBron?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because I just think he's a better player.
But what is your reasoning why you think he's better?
My reasoning, he's way more complete. He's played way older. Like Michael Jordan could.
So you rank longevity
up
very
there.
high.
Consistency, longevity matters. I mean, from 18 to 40, LeBron has been a top 5, top 10 player in the league. Michael Jordan obviously had a great prime, but once he hit 33, he fell off a lot.
No, it was like 36.
Well, whatever. In Washington, he wasn't much, was he?
I know, but he was averaging 36 when he was like 23 or 22 or whatever. When he first came to the league, he led the league a lot.
I just think LeBron is a better all-round player. I mean, Michael Jordan, you can argue that he's a better pure scorer.
Yeah. But, I mean, you could also say that sports science obviously has helped LeBron maintain that longevity. If Michael Jordan...
yeah, but no one else has done it.
Yeah, because, but we're talking about the greats. So Michael Jordan smoked cigars and gambled and drank. That doesn't help his longevity at all. LeBron, he's a clean diet, but spends $1 million on his body. Well, Michael Jordan didn't have the knowledge of that and didn't have the modern technology that LeBron has, where he can spend a lot of money on his body to maintain it.
I think Michael Jordan, if he played in today's era, would opt for a James Harden off-court approach.
Yeah, but that's different mentality.
James
I think if he knew that he could win continuously, and if he saw LeBron doing it at this age, say he was 33 right now and LeBron's whatever his age is, I think he would undertake that yearly sort of body sort of improvement because he want to compete at the very top level. So I don't think it's necessarily because I don't think he'd necessarily be the same person where he'd just smoke and gamble all the time, even though he might probably gamble. But I think he would take care of his body a lot more if he was in the modern day because he's that ultra competitive. And that's probably another reason why I have him over LeBron. His competitiveness is on another level. I think he's the most competitive athlete of all time.
A lot of people say, well, that's what they hold. They just say LeBron's too nice. Like
I don't think that.
He doesn't hate the opposition, or he's too nice to his teammates. Or like, because they say Kobe, he hated his teammates even. MJ hated some of his teammates.
Yeah. Well, I think some people, and me included, value competition in sports so highly and the competitive nature of an athlete as such a key part of the success and the ultimate sort of view upon their career of an athlete. And I think Michael you would agree that he's the best competitor of all time in sports.
Yeah.
In terms of mentality,
yeah.
I mean,
I have to think about it, but yeah, he definitely.
If you've watched The Last Dance, then you'd know he's just
Dennis
the
Rodman.
guy would, if George Karl walked past him in a restaurant before the NBA Finals, and he was like, "Oh my god, he hates me. I'm gonna fucking beat this guy." He didn't gamble because he was a serial gambler and he needed money, or he gambled because he needed to be in a competition all the time. Like his brain couldn't comprehend normal things because he had to be in a competition. He had to be competing against anyone all the time. That kind of brain, that kind of wiring for sports in general is probably why I'd have him above LeBron. Just from a mentality standpoint, he's so elite in that sort of standpoint. And I'm including all sports. I mean, I'm a massive football fan. I've never seen a competitor like him before. So, yeah, it's a tough debate, but I think if you pick either one, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah. So comments. You decide. You remember epic rap battles of history?
Well, I do remember it, but I don't remember specific rap battle.
They used to go, "Who won? You decide."
Why don't you say that to the camera right now?
I just said it. I'm not saying it again.
Oh, come on, you got to show with emphasis. You can't explain the joke before or after it. You got to pretend like it's a new thing.
No, I'm not saying it again.
Okay, you didn't have to say epic rap battle. You could have just done it, and then maybe the audience would have picked up on it.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a niche thing these days. But yeah, okay. We'll leave the NBA chat there, I think, unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Not really.
All right. So we'll move on to Premier League.
Oh, it's such a great weekend in the Premier League. Arsenal losing, Man City
up the Reds.
Man City losing, up the Reds. The Liverpool Reds didn't do so well either, which was they lost 3-0.
Who'd they lose to?
I forgot. It was Brighton. I forgot.
Brighton.
I think it was. Oh no!
Didn't we lose like 4-0 to Brighton?
I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, it was someone stupid. But yeah, Liverpool lost it. It was fantastic. But yeah, the main news of the Premier League at this current moment is the Man City debacle. And essentially, if you don't know, Man City are being investigated by the Premier League. They were previously investigated by the Champions League for these financial fair play rule breaks. But essentially, the Premier League apparently have over 100 charges against Man City over a course of about 11, 12-year period where they've broken financial fair play regulations. Now, that may include, and one of those charges is that they slipped some money under the table to their former manager, Roberto Mancini. So he's essentially played double what they said on the contract. Yeah, what was disclosed. So there's a lot of regulations like that where they're just simply lying. They say that they make more revenue than Man United and Real Madrid, which is just ridiculous. No one believes that, but they say it. They literally sponsor themselves so they can filter more money into the club and spend more money. It just criminal behavior. And they should be locked up and thrown away, essentially. So yes, the Man City debacle at this current moment is the biggest thing in football. A lot of people are saying that they should get relegated, including me. Now,
well, that's surprising.
This is not just because I'm a Man United fan, right? It is because the integrity of the sport has been completely demolished. Now, if it was over a 1 or 2 year period, I would say, you know what?
Strip the points.
No, I'd say maybe like a 10, 15 point deduction. 10, 15 point deduction, maybe 15 point deduction, get them out the Champions League for this year. So they're screwed for the next 1 or 2 seasons, essentially. And there may be a transfer embargo as well. Maybe something like that. But because this is over a 12-year period where they've they've basically ruined multiple clubs in different ways. I mean, Liverpool should have had 3 titles. Man United could have had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could have been a Premier League winner. Teams also getting relegated as well, based off Man City beating them. Or it's just Man City, how they've done it illegally has impacted so many other clubs. And I think that happening over such a long period of time, they deserve to be relegated and maybe kicked out of the professional football.
Imagine that. Imagine seeing Erling Haaland run around in second league.
Mate, I know you wanted to play Champions League, but how do you feel about going to Huddersfield away? Do you like that? He's like, what? Kevin De Bruyne. Buddy, I know you've played in like World Cup semis and stuff like that, but would you like to play at Stockport for this upcoming season?
We got a new opportunity.
I'd love it.
I mean, we've won the Premier League enough. We may as well win the second division.
So essentially, a lot of the potential punishments for Man City that are being speculated are like obviously fines, which is just useless because they're billionaires anyway. So what's the point? There's fines. There's obviously points reductions. Or points getting taken away, or relegation. Now, as a Man United fan, obviously, I'm hoping for relegation, but I do believe that they deserve relegation because if a club has systematically done this over such a long period of time, they deserve to be relegated. And obviously, the 3 Man City fans out there might disagree. But look, you broke the rules for a long period of time. Everyone knew you were doing it. You knew you were doing it, but you were just along for the ride because you're like, well, fuck it, who cares? Now, stripping of titles and giving them to other teams, I think is a bit ridiculous, which has been speculated online. I don't think I would take, even though I hate the Aguero moment more than anything.
Well,
I probably would love to take it away on paper, but I still have it in my mind that they won it. I wouldn't claim credit for that title. I'd be like, we won 22 times. We've won 22.
Yeah, like looking at the NRL example with the Melbourne Storm, they obviously cheated the salary cap, which I guess is the equivalent, and they were stripped. But then Parramatta didn't win. It was just no one won.
Yeah, which I don't hate doing. I don't think, other people should be awarded it, but it happened to Juventus. Juventus got relegated from Serie A when they had Del Piero, Buffon, all those big names, and they got relegated. And I think this club should get relegated as well. I think Man City should get relegated. And if it's like a 5-point deduction and like 10 million in fines, that's the most bullshit fucking thing. And there should be protests all across the football world if that happens, because it's an absolute joke if that's kind of the punishment that's sort of handed to them. And it just hands Arsenal the title. It doesn't do anything for City. They still finish in Champions League. They still are absolutely fine. So, yeah, I completely... And Pep actually said in an interview when they were being investigated by the Champions League for these FFP breaking of rules, he was saying that he would leave because he would leave if they were found guilty of this by either the Premier League or the Champions League, because he would have been lied to about them spending money illegally or filtering money or fraudulently moving money. So Pep, I think it's time to get on your high horse, buddy.
Yeah, obviously he's going to leave. Why would he stay?
No, but in terms of even if it was, they just got fined for it, even if they were just found guilty for it.
Well, he's got to save his character. I reckon he knew some shady dealings were going on.
Of course he does. He's fucking capping. Everybody in their mother knows that they've done it illegally. No one in their right mind believes that they make more money than Man United and Real Madrid. No one believes that. Have you seen how many Man United get in a Carabao Cup game, get 80,000 fans in the stadium? Do you know how much money? Look at that jersey. Do you think anyone's buying a Man City away jersey in Australia? No. I've never seen a Man City fan in my life in this country. So, they make more money than Man United. Sure they do. Sure they do. They can barely fill their own stadium for a Champions League knockout game. Never mind friggin', a Carabao Cup game or any regular Premier League game. And look, I've got Man City fans in my family, so I'm not saying that there aren't the hardcore ones that... I'm not saying that hardcore fans don't exist for that football club, because actually the majority of my family is Man City fans.
Wow. Why?
Because they're from Manchester. Disgusting. They're from a specific part of Manchester. It's just how it is. But I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I'm saying that the revenue that they're talking about coming from all this range of fans that they have is just baloney. And
range of fans. They have a lot of fans in Saudi, probably.
In where?
Saudi.
No, they don't. No one cares. They might do, but really, is that Saudi Arabia the one place that they've got fans? Is that? I think they've got Man United have got fans everywhere across the globe. Man City fans don't have any fans. And the ones that they do have, they're all in Manchester. I can guarantee you. There is no Man City fan that lives outside of England. I can personally guarantee you that. So the fact that they're claiming that they got through this money legally or whatever is a joke, and everyone knows it. So, yeah, at the end of the day, everyone knows they're guilty. It's just the punishment that's going to be put across to them. And if it's going to be a fine, which is going to be ridiculous, or if it's going to be relegation, which I hope it is. And Oscar didn't know this news before we came to film today. He's like, what do you mean, what news?
Shows how into...
Yeah, he's such a hard fan this guy is. Such a really good fan.
Really good fan. At least I acknowledge when I'm a casual. That's the thing I hate, is when people talk about sports, but they don't acknowledge the fact that they're a casual.
You see it with basketball all the time in this country. It's like... Whenever in school as well, someone tried to talk about basketball, or they're having a conversation about basketball next to you, I'm like, bro, you're such a fucking casual. I could chime in.
Nothing worse.
I could chime in on this conversation and just ruin your fucking ego right now. So yeah, it's like, oh, bro. I don't want to name an example, but still, yeah, I just think that...
Bro, Giannis is so good, man.
Oh, my God, bro. I actually rate Melo over Jordan, dude. Melo is such a good player. That's probably a take he'd have, to be fair. So,
is it? Okay.
Would you rate Melo over Jordan?
Carmelo or LaMelo?
Carmelo.
I think he's cooler than Jordan. I'll give him that.
Oh, okay, he's cooler than Jordan. I don't think anyone believes that. But, look, on the Man City thing, they should be relegated. Give us your thoughts in the comments. I think they should be relegated. And obviously the comments... and the people watching this podcast will agree with me, because there are no Man City fans, as said before.
True.
And I think every other Big Six fan should want them relegated as well. just for breaking the rules. I just think you should get relegated for it, and it'll be Man United and Arsenal at the top again, which you love to see. And yeah, so that was the.
So who does that mean? 4 teams go down, or someone survives?
What do you mean? Oh, probably someone survives. Like they go. They wouldn't get like relegated. It'd be like a 100-point deduction or something, and they just have no chance of getting out. So it'd be that.
But there's still a lot of weeks left.
Yeah, so they basically just play for nothing.
They only need to win like 3 games, and they're already out of it.
Yeah, but it'd be funny if they won like the Champions League or something, and they'd be in the Champions League.
This is the year they finally win. Like all that cheating, and they still couldn't even win it. So
yeah, they win the Champions League like when they're in the Champions League when they're in like the Championship or something. It'd be hilarious. But yeah, I just think they deserve to be relegated. So yeah, great news for Man United as well. Talking about oil money, we're actually going to have a bid apparently from Qatari bidders in the summer for Manchester United, which is great to hear. Around 330 billion, I think, is their net worth.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that was their offer. I was like, what the fuck?
No. But yeah, the news that's been leaked by a Tier 1 source, which if you don't know about the tiers in English football in terms of media source, Tier 1 is reliable, Tier 5 is The Sun.
Okay, so they tier their sources.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So, but this is from a Tier 1 source. And apparently they're saying that they're going to bid in the summer for Manchester United around... they're planning a project for about 8 billion, where they're going to buy the football club, but also rebuild the stadium and rebuild the training ground, all that stuff. It's the initial project for rebuilding Manchester United, which is great to hear from a Manchester United fan's perspective. You want those big boy owners. And you hear Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's an English businessman, sort of being linked with buying Man United. All due respect to you, buddy. We want that big time money. We don't. I know his company makes a bit of money.
We want that oil sketchy money.
That oil sketchy money. And I've just been ranting about Man City's oil sketchy money, but we actually make enough money where financial fair play is no longer a problem. And we just get bled dry by the Glazers. So yeah, essentially we could get some Qataris in there. And look, I love the Qataris. I love the Qatar World Cup. It was a fantastic.
Never hated on it once.
Never hated on it once. I never thought it was illegal and they killed all their construction workers. I never thought that whatsoever. He was the one perpetrating that.
I was the one in support of what?
No, he was supporting that. I never thought that.
I hated the World Cup. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, no. Well, the Qataris, I think, will buy Manchester United, hopefully, because the Glazers want the most money and they have the most money. And apparently he's a Man United fan, the guy that's linked to it.
Well, that's good.
He's some lord there, so I don't know.
So
or something.
I reckon he maybe know Ronaldo and Rooney.
What do you mean?
Like as a United fan, I think he'd maybe know 2 players' names.
Yeah. Oh no, I think he's actually a like they've got the thing with them. They don't have to do anything. Like they just sit on this massive pile of oil where they just make billions of dollars a week, and they don't have to do anything really. So they basically have all this free time. So I imagine he watches Man United. I mean, if I was
I wouldn't be so sure.
If I was a billionaire, I would just not do anything. I'd just watch Man United and then I'd maybe go to the gym once in a while. I mean, what would you do?
I would just go everywhere, all around the world.
Yeah, but I still watch Man United because I got the time to do it. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So yeah, I think look, all I care about is got Man United's best interest at heart. I don't care if he watches the games or not. If you spend the money and you look after and you build the right infrastructure around the football club, I don't care how much you're a fan of the club. You just got to do right by it. So look, it's great news for Man United this week. If Man City get relegated and we get Qataris in it as owners, oh God. Oh, that would be heaven. That would be... I don't think I could be happier.
No.
Seeing like my firstborn child, I would be like, this doesn't make me as happy as when Man United got bought by Qataris and Man City got relegated.
Yeah, well, that's good news for your future child.
Yeah, I hope you're saying this. In 100 years' time.
What's he going to be called?
Maximus.
Maximus?
Have you seen Gladiator?
No.
Oh my God. Right. Yeah,
is that the Russell Crowe one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a cool name. Maybe Carmelo. That'd be a cool name.
Carmelo? He's white. You can't call him Carmelo.
Why not?
Have you ever seen a white Carmelo?
No, my son will be the first.
Okay.
Do you want to have a unique name?
Huh?
For your kids, do you want to have like a unique name? It'd be like a Jewish name. Like,
I wouldn't mind
Yilmaz.
unique, but I don't want it to be weird.
But like what?
Yilmaz?
That's a Jewish name, no?
I don't know. I'm not Jewish. What sort of Jewish names?
You know
are
how
in my
I thought of
family?
that? Have you watched Holes?
No.
Holes the movie?
No.
Oh my god. Well, if you watched Holes, there's like a guy
Yilmaz.
called Stanley Yelnats. It's the main character. And I just thought of that. I don't know why.
You're going to call my son Yilmaz.
Yilmaz
Yeah,
or-
probably not. Unless my wife is intent on that.
Would you be opposed to having a Jewish wife?
No.
So you'd have like a full Jewish family?
I would just be separate from that part of her life.
Oh, so you wouldn't be Jewish?
No, I wouldn't turn Jewish.
But you are
But
Jewish.
she can be Jewish if she wants.
But you are Jewish.
Okay, yeah, I am Jewish, but I'm not going to
Be like
reading
Orthodox.
Bibles every night and all
Orthodox. Well, yeah, I'd love to see it in the future. Obviously, he has to get a girl or a date first, but that's you've got plenty of time for that.
Anyway,
Anyway,
plenty of time.
what's the next topic you'd like
Next
to
up, Super Bowl. Obviously, Monday, I believe, is the Super Bowl. Now, if you watched our last episode, both my predictions were right and both of yours were wrong.
I said this to him before.
I'm meant to be the casual, but
I said this to him before. I picked out of heart. I didn't think they were good. And come on, to be fair to me, the 49ers were on their fourth string quarterback. I mean, come on now. Who can? And even he got injured. They were on their fifth string quarterback. I can't even.
obviously the defensive people are shit at blocking.
No, the two quarterbacks got injured in the same game. It wasn't
doing
It
what?
wasn't my fault.
What are they doing? It's the easiest. It's like the least injured position in the whole thing.
It was just unlucky on that part. And then the Bengals got cheated out of their game. So I mean, come on. I mean, the Chiefs got 2 third down plays right after they failed on a third down, and then they got it. Oh, let's run it again. Sorry, we were meant to blow this play dead.
Must have been a flag or something.
Yeah, but no one could see it, so they just played the play out, and they basically got a practice play on a third down. So yeah, not the greatest from a referee's standpoint, but that's by the by. I've moved on. I'm not a fan of either team, so I don't really give a crap. But yeah, it's going to be Philadelphia, Kansas City Super Bowl.
Where is it?
Arizona, a weird place to have
Phoenix.
it. Yeah, not a great place to have it, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Obviously,
how do they do
Rihanna's
it?
the halftime show.
Is it just like a bid or something, or does it just rotate?
Oh no, it wrote. Oh, I'm not too sure. I think it might be bid. It might be rotate. I'm not too sure. I know it changes every year, obviously, but yeah, it's a great spectacle. Obviously, I'll be watching. So yeah, I can't wait to watch Kansas City dart up the Philadelphia. Who do you reckon is going to win that game?
I'll just go Chiefs, I think.
Go Chiefs? Yeah, I think Chiefs are going to win. I think Philadelphia have had the easiest run in the playoffs by far. And I think I just think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a great game either. I think it's going to probably be like a 27-10 game or something like that. It won't be like a complete blowout, but it'll be like Kansas City would have won the game by the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. But yeah, hopefully it's a good game. Obviously, I'm hoping as a neutral that you get a good game. You get a lot of entertainment out of it. Obviously, Oscar's going to be looking forward to the halftime show with Rihanna.
Yep.
That's
Hopefully
his-
she's
that's his main deal.
looking nice.
But yeah, so talking about halftime shows. Now, I have recently had a chat with someone about this recently. Now, they put across the most, and they're probably watching this, by the way.
I wonder who it is.
Yeah, okay. They're putting across. They put across this standpoint that they look forward to the ads and the halftime
ads?
show, like the Super Bowl ads.
Oh, no, well, I look forward to the halftime show.
The Super Bowl ads and the halftime show more than the actual game, which I thought was
Okay, but
terrible.
the thing is, in Australia, you don't see the ads.
Yeah, I know, but like this person like this liked the ads more.
But how do you
Well,
see
found
it?
the ads really entertaining. Well, they went they've been to America. I don't know,
yeah.
but they like the ads online or like watching the ads online, and also obviously the halftime show as well.
Yeah.
Now, do you like the halftime show more than the game?
I would say yeah.
Oh my god!
But
we're literally a sports podcast.
I'm not a big NFL guy. I just don't get it like that.
But we're a sports podcast, and you've just said that you like the halftime show more than the final.
Of a certain sport that I don't really follow properly.
But even that, we're a sports podcast. We got to.
Yeah, but we're not every sports podcast.
We
under
kind
the
of
sun.
are.
Yeah, a lot of sports, but
You've got to show. Come on, you got to show more love to the sport.
I
Surely, do you enjoy the game at least? Do you at least watch the game and say, you know what, this is a?
Kind of. I can watch the game and enjoy it, but it's just too slow
It's too slow.
for me.
Well, I don't like the slowness of it either. Usually I don't mind it because the ads aren't too long. But in the Super Bowl, the ads are so long within, timeouts, and because there's so many stoppages in an NFL game, you need to be quick. But yeah, it can be very frustrating. I can get in the Super Bowl where if a team goes 3 and out and then punts the ball, you've watched ads before. So you've watched ads, they go 3 and out, they punt the ball, then there's ads. And then if they make one half decent play and then they go, and then they stall for 3 plays, then they got to punt the ball, and then it's an ads again. It's just, it can be, you can watch 3 groups of ads within 5 minutes, and it can be very, or 5 minutes of 5 minutes in general. So it can be very frustrating from a neutral's perspective, but I enjoy NFL, so I obviously would choose the game over the friggin' halftime show with Shakira. Was that
Shakira.
Was that? Do you think that was the best halftime show of all time? The Shakira J-Lo one.
Well, last year's was pretty good. I don't know what the best of all. I think a lot of people say Michael Jackson was the best.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or like Beyonce or something.
I think Prince was probably up there. That whole spectacle, when he did the Purple Rain when it was raining. That's timing at its best right there. You can't be doing Purple Rain when it's fucking sunny outside, can you? It's got to be pissing down with rain. So, yeah, I can't wait for... I don't know how good Rihanna's going to be. Obviously, she just had a kid. I don't know how good a vocal range she's going to be at this point. I don't know how up to speed she's going to be. But we're hoping for the best. And will you be watching the? Will you be free to watch the game? Or you?
I don't know. I think I'm rostered to work, but I'll try and move it.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see for that one. So hopefully Oscar can watch the halftime show because that's so important to him. So yeah, moving on to the next topic. So sorry, who did you pick for the Super Bowl again?
Yeah, Chiefs. Oh, just before we leave that, obviously Tom Brady announced his retirement,
yes.
we can quickly chat about that. Now, I want to bring up a thing with Patrick Mahomes, right? Would you say he's the best quarterback right now?
I've seen this take on Twitter where someone put it's not. I think it was Dan Orlovsky. I think said Patrick Mahomes was the second greatest quarterback of all time, which is fucking ridiculous.
Well, I was just gonna say, do you think he's on pace to?
He's on pace
to Brady,
but it's so hard to say. Like technically, Luka is on pace to be the greatest player of all time, but it's so early that you can't even begin to comprehend him being the greatest of all time. He's still quite young. He's in his mid-20s, which in the NFL is young because they have to come out of college at 21. So he's still quite young. But Brady's been, even though he wasn't great this year, up until he's 45 years old, he's been an unbelievable player. So for 22 years or whatever, he's been a top level player. So it's very, very difficult for me to sit there and say Patrick Mahomes is on pace. Well, even though he is on pace, it's very hard to say that he will ever overcome Brady because of how much Brady's achieved. I personally don't think so. Just for the fact that even though Patrick Mahomes is a great player, there's a lot that could go wrong, which would torpedo it. Brady has just had such an unbelievable career. He's had 2 separate careers. He's had 3. You could split his career up into 3 stages, and each stage would be a Hall of Fame career. Like, that is crazy. That's unbelievable. Now, if Patrick Mahomes retired today, would he be a Hall of Fame quarterback? Probably, because of how much he's achieved at such a young age, and how great he is right now. But still, I could never really imagine him overcoming Brady. Like, I could never imagine Luka overcoming LeBron or Jordan. But even though it's possible to happen, I still don't think it's going to happen because of how long he has to and how many more achievements he has to do in order to attain that. Now, but he's in a very good system with a great coach and great front office and good weapons and good young players around it. So there is potential for it, but I would never sort of associate Brady and Mahomes in the same situation.
Okay, so that's a shit take then.
It's not a terrible take, but it's a very... Like, you would hear Patrick Mahomes fans say, make that take.
Well, if he wins this, he's got 2 Super Bowls already.
Yeah, look, well, Brady had 2 Super Bowls his first 2 years. But he wasn't playing at the level Patrick Mahomes was, to be frank. He was a decent quarterback, but he wasn't anywhere near Patrick Mahomes' level right, like he is right now. But I don't think that Patrick Mahomes can get to him. Now, a lot of people are making the argument that Brady isn't the greatest of all time because he's retired and they're just stupid people, really. He's not the most talented.
Who's their argument then?
Like they're
Shannon
saying,
Sharp.
no, tight end. They're probably like Peyton Manning. People are saying Peyton. Like I heard a take, maybe it was on First Take or something, where someone said Peyton Manning's the best thrower of a football of all time. It's like, bro, who gives a fuck? Tom Brady won with unbelievable numbers, dominating multiple eras of football. He dominated multiple eras, which is unheard of. So yeah, I still put him as a GOAT at this standpoint. And he's doing a podcast. I think he just had Bill Belichick on, and he's going to do a broadcast.
Is that the Patriots coach?
Yes, Bill Belichick. He's a Patriots coach, so he's going to do a podcast. And I think in 2024 he's going to be a broadcaster, which is going to be interesting to see how good he is there. But a lot of people
just, at one halftime show, he'll probably be like, "Fuck it, I want to play again."
I have no doubt he still wants to play, and I don't look. He's retired before, and he came back. I wouldn't be surprised if he said, "You know what? I'm thirsting for this." I think he might have done it for Giselle. He's like, "Giselle, will you take me back?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "All right, I'm playing football. I'm back on there." So yeah, I think the right
Rob Gronkowski, surely. Let's go again. Yeah,
it's Robbie boy. I think you're out playing again. Didn't you retire 10 minutes ago? No, that was just fake, dude. That was fake. That was for the media, dude. I
was in a very drunken state. I made an irrational decision.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about something else. Yeah, do you want to play again, Rob? And they go to Oakland or Las Vegas, or something like that. But I think it's not completely. He did answer. He was on, Colin Cowherd. He was on his show recently, and Colin asked him, "Is there any thought about coming back?" He didn't directly say no. He kind of skirted around the situation, which makes me think that he's still thinking about it. But I just don't. I think when you can't retire twice, and then come back, it's just a bit embarrassing. Everyone's just like, "Bro, what are you doing?" No, because then you can't retire again because you're like, "Bro, okay, you're capping. Good one, hey, Tommy boy, hey, good one."
Yeah, good one.
But I think
but when you're like 50, surely you can't still play.
He can still play. It's ridiculous. And I'm not a huge fan of Giselle and how she sort of divorced him because he was still playing football. Like it's his career. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, if a 45-year-old businessman was like, and his wife was like, "Oh, you got to retire." It's like, no, I'm 45. I'm
but you live at home if you're a businessman.
Yeah, he lives at home. He's not in the army where he's stationed in Iraq for 8 months.
He's going to a different place every week.
At the end of the week, he's every other week as well. He's at home half the time. So he's at home an entire week, and then he's at home for another 4 days, and then he's gone for 2 days, and then he's come back. Oh my God, how could you leave this family? He's leaving for 2 days every fortnight. He's not in the fucking Middle East where he's fighting Iraqis every 8 months. Like, he's just down the road. He's in the same country for 2 days.
Giselle has high maintenance.
It's like, bruh, he's not killing people. Like, just let him play football, dude.
Maybe they just don't like each other anymore.
No, I think it was definitely, she was like, "You got to retire." I think that's the rumors. Now, apparently she was cheating as well, which is a separate situation. We don't know the ins and outs, but if the reason you left him is because he wanted to play football and stick with his career at 45, I mean, only in sports we think 45 is old. 45 is middle-aged. You still should be 45-year-olds. If you're retired at 45, you're like, "Whoa, how have you retired this young?"
You have a nice check coming in from your dead parents.
Yeah, so you won the lottery or something. So yeah, I think if he wants to keep on playing, he can still play, but I don't think he will come back. I think the way he said that he retired, I think he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm done with this shit." So
okay,
yeah, that's my opinion.
All right, well, goodbye, Tom. Have a nice life, I guess.
He does have a nice life. He has a lot of money.
He does.
Cool. All right. The UFC is up next.
Yes, UFC 284 this weekend in Australia. Let's go. Round of applause for that.
In Perth.
UFC is back in Australia. Finally, yes.
God, couldn't have picked a better place in Perth.
You could have, and a bigger place. That place seats about 12,000 people.
Wow.
Now, I tried to get tickets myself. Fucking impossible. Sold out in 2 seconds, obviously. Because there was only 12,000 fucking seats. So
yeah, why would you go to Perth?
Shocking decision. I mean, you could have sold out 50k easy. So yeah, but I guess we'll leave that there. That's just fucking UFC's shitty decision. The fights though, Islam Makhachev versus Alex Volkanovski in the main event for the lightweight title. Now,
I've heard the sort of talking about Volk being the GOAT if he beats Islam in this fight.
the GOAT of all time.
Yeah. Michael Chiesa said something like that. I can't remember.
That guy's chatting shit.
But yeah, what do you believe in that? Does he enter the GOAT debate if he beats Islam?
Oh, no. Just he hasn't done it enough. I mean, he's got 3 defenses at featherweight against great. I mean, beating Max Holloway 3 times is incredible, but I don't think he's done enough to be in the GOAT conversation. Obviously, beating Islam is a massive achievement, but no, I don't think he's done enough.
Would you rank him above Mighty Mouse if he?
No, Mighty Mouse had like 10, 11 defenses.
Yeah, but the competition I don't think was as great.
No, it wasn't, but it's just you have to do it for more than 2 years for me. But if he does win, he's definitely he's already number 1 pound for pound, and he's just Islam's number 2 pound for pound. So
this is a blockbuster.
It's a big fight. And obviously all the Dagestani and Russian boys, they all get round the fight. So
yes, boys.
It's a big spectacle. But Khabib has in fact retired from even coaching at this point, so he's not coming over at all to even corner Islam. So maybe
why is he retired? What was he doing?
I don't know. He just apparently he needs even more time with his family.
Yeah. There's I don't get how he can just retire that young. I can understand it because fighting's very different to other sports where it's not psychologically that tough.
It's just he loves his dad and he had a promise with his dad or his mum or something. He had a promise with his mum that if his dad died, he'd stop fighting.
That's so weird. Did he do that before his dad died?
Yeah,
that's a bit weird.
I think, or maybe he said after his dad died, he was like, the Gaethje
that's
fight.
Like
this is my
predicting
last fight.
that your dad's gonna die young.
I think the promise might have been after his dad died, but I think he never wanted to fight without his dad or something. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Do you think Volkanovski has a realistic chance? Because he's a big underdog. I think he's 4-1 underdog.
I don't. Look, Islam. There's just the Dagestani guys are so fucking crazy. Like I saw the footage of them rocking up shirtless in Perth, just get ready to train even on the off day. I just think they're a different breed, and I think Volkanovski, even though he beat Holloway 3 times, which is like you said unheard of. He got lucky a couple times. So I just don't think he's anywhere near Islam. I think Islam's probably the best pound for pound fighter in the world.
Well, if he can keep it standing, he's got better striking than Islam. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but Islam's just a dog. He's just an absolute monster.
But sometimes, because Volkanovski's short, obviously.
Yeah, and he's not too bad at wrestling himself.
And apparently, the word on the street is if you're short, that's good for takedown defense. Because
but you wouldn't know, obviously, because you're a giant.
I would know because, I'm shit at takedown defense because I'm very long.
And you've never done any MMA training whatsoever.
No,
that as well.
But if you're short and you're like a ball, it's easy to get up because you're close to the ground already and you have small limbs and stuff.
And you can just pop up.
Your center of gravity is a lot better. So, I don't know. Volk is really good. So, I don't care. I'm going to put a bet on Volk because fuck it for the culture. So,
God,
it has to be.
Yeah,
done.
if you haven't watched the podcast before, don't go with any bets that he does.
No, I'm really broke right now, but whatever. Yeah, it has to be done. Now, if Volk wins, there's a very interesting fight that's just been announced. Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Now, we talked about this on the last episode, like rumors about it, and it was Tony Ferguson or Chandler. But
I wanted Tony, but
they've gone with Chandler, and they're actually doing the Ultimate Fighter. So
it's great news.
Great news. And if Conor does somehow miraculously win that fight...
he's 100% against the Volkanovski. Are you kidding? It won't obviously be at featherweight, but...
No.
Could Conor move down to lightweight?
I think he could, if he really wanted to.
I think Dana's like, Conor, come on, you get a title.
See, I think the Volkanovski fight intrigues him because he's a featherweight champ and that was his former division. And if he becomes a lightweight champ, that's literally doing the exact same thing he did before, moving up to lightweight and becoming double champ.
Yeah.
And so I think there is a bit of...
Dana's going to give it to him, but it's just if he can make
the weight. It's just if he
weight.
wants it, yeah. So imagine if that happened in Australia, Volkanovski, McGregor.
That would never happen in Australia. They would never put it in Australia.
Why?
Because,
I mean,
when
they have to do it
the
in Vegas.
Adesanya fight where he was fighting in Australia in that massive... Was it in Melbourne?
Against Whittaker. Yeah, Melbourne.
But the seating of that was so shit because it's a stadium and everyone was on flat So it wasn't built like an indoor stadium. So Australia didn't have any massive indoor stadiums like a basketball stadium or a boxing ring. You don't have massive indoor stadiums in Australia because the national sports are outside sports. So it's tough to put a UFC event in there because there's no seating arrangement where it's sort of scaled up and everyone has a decent viewing experience. And obviously Perth, I don't know if Perth has that indoor stadium, if it's an indoor stadium or not.
Well, where they're doing it is indoor.
So, but there's not enough people there. Like they could do it at Kudos Bank Arena.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, come on. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I think they'd probably be, obviously, if it's Conor, they're going to do it in somewhere in America. They're going to get the biggest numbers.
They put Conor in Vegas all the time.
Yeah, they put him in Vegas. They'll put him in Madison Square Garden. They'll do something big like that. I probably imagine that they do MSG more likely because that's where he won the lightweight belt. So they probably want to do for the storyline or something like that. I'm not too sure, but
the timeline lines up because they usually do MSG in November. So
Conor, baby. But do you think Conor's going to overcome Chandler though?
I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't be confident in predicting him, but I do think he could win.
Well, yeah. Well, I think if you don't hope for Conor to win that, I think you're not a Michael Chandler fan. Then I
just want to see how he is on the show. If he's all like evil, like he was against Khabib.
He was a great shit talker though.
Or if like against Uriah Faber on the last show, he was chill, but he was jabbing and it was funny because he wasn't trying too hard.
It was just the coolest guy there.
Or if he's like Cerrone, where he's just super respectful and just sucking his dick the whole time. So there's different Conors. I'm interested to see which one.
I think everyone loves the jovial, biggest cock in the room one.
Yeah, just a happy guy, but he's swinging his dick about. He's letting you know about it.
Yeah.
But he's not like saying you're a rat and I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. Ali Abdelaziz,
your manager's a rat and he ran away.
You're mad terrorist rat. So yeah, but in terms of this fight, I'll go with obviously against Volkanovski, which is unfortunate.
Wow, you're gonna pick against the Aussie.
Which is unfortunate. So who are the other sort of big names on the card?
So the co-main event is an interim featherweight title because obviously Volkanovski's moving up, so he can't defend the featherweight belt right now. Between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett.
Big names, those. I'm really.
Do you know either of them?
No.
Okay.
Look, I'm a UFC casual. No shame whatsoever to admit it. Who do you reckon is going to win that fight?
I'm reasonably confident that Yair Rodriguez is going to win. Josh Emmett, his last fight was against Calvin Kattar, where he won a decision. He lost the fight. It was a shit decision.
Okay.
And Yair Rodriguez in his last fight, he beat Brian Ortega, but Ortega injured his shoulder in the fight, so it wasn't like a real win. Yeah. But before that, he fought Max, and it was a close fight. Like he looked really good against Max, and that to me means a lot. So I think Yair Rodriguez wins quite comfortably, to be honest. His striking's he's really unorthodox. Surely you've seen like that. He knocked out Korean Zombie with an up elbow in the last second.
I've probably seen him, but I have no idea what he looks like.
Yeah, he's a little Mexican dude, and he's super. He does a lot of spins and shit. He's really cool.
Who else is on the card?
That's pretty much it that you would know. Tyson Pedro, do you know him?
No.
Okay, well he's Aussie. He's on it. Jack Madalena, he's a prospect, an Aussie prospect. He's on it. Obviously, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa was meant to be on the card, but UFC didn't pay Paulo Costa what he wanted, so he pulled out of the fight.
I think that would make the card a lot better. Now, to be fair, I mean, it'd probably be a waste to have those two fights in Perth. I mean, let's be real. I mean, Perth does not deserve Whittaker, Costa, and also a 1v2 pound-for-pound fighter as well. I mean, they don't deserve either. Let's be real. But they're getting one of them. So, yeah, I think that it's obviously a great main event, but obviously as a casual, the card isn't not big names. So
no, it's not. But
a lot of people will be paying for the pay-per-view because of how
just because of that fight.
Well, we'll be going to the pub probably. We're too stingy for that. But,
yeah. But did you see in the lead up? So there was a press conference for I think the last Apex show they just did, and Dana was asked a question about how he started the for UFC 284 because everyone's been mad that the UFC hasn't been promoting it because they clearly don't give a fuck about Islam or Volk.
Yeah.
So they haven't been promoting it a lot. And Dana was like, yeah, this fight means a lot. You never get to see pound for pound number 1 versus pound for pound number 2. And I mean, for their legacies, I mean, if Volkanovski wins, it's just he goes straight to the top. And then if the other guy, if he wins, he also goes right to the top. So he full on just forgot he was in the fucking fight. Like,
it's kind of tough when he's like the biggest name in martial arts at this
dude,
point.
I'm completely off Dana now. I'm like, dude, this guy sucks at his job at this point. I'm sorry.
I think he's just getting old. To be fair, when you get old, your hands start to wiggle about a bit. You know, but
he literally has a script. Every single question, he says the exact same answer every single time, and he doesn't even know who fucking Islam Makhachev is. So,
well, he needs Conor. It's like him and Dana and Conor without each other are just soulless. They're wandering about, and then when they're together, they light up. They're like a fuse in a room. They're just so electric together. So I think Conor needs to come back and sort of revitalize his energy and say, oh, I can get record-breaking pay-per-view numbers now. Oh, I got Conor. It's all good. It's like in a rocking chair. It's like, it's all good now. Conor's back. And he's probably like, hey, Mikey boy.
Well, he's just so...
How much would it cost for you to lose this fight?
Yeah, like just a little dive. Just not a big one.
Yeah, obviously, we all know Conor's got massive power.
Just tap to strikes. You don't have to go get knocked out cold.
And just try not to do any takedowns or anything like that. Obviously, we want to see a good fight here.
Like wrestling. No one likes wrestling.
Who cares
We've seen Khabib fighting before, right? We don't need to see that.
We don't need another ball fest. No. But yeah, I just don't think he could beat Chandler. But
really,
no,
Chandler gets hit a lot. Like, he has terrible defense.
I know, which makes it a great fight, but the problem is...
But Conor just has the worst cardio I've ever seen.
Yeah, but Conor right now is a shell of himself, and Dustin Poirier fucking
Dustin just beat Chandler.
I know, but he beat him up, and I think if Dustin can beat McGregor up, then I think Chandler can beat McGregor up.
I think, it just depends, because Conor doesn't have a good... I mean, his chin isn't bad. He doesn't get knocked out cold, but he sort of... Once he gets hit, it's like his energy just drains, and he can't even move, and then he just gets hit more, and then he loses.
Yeah.
But he's just, if he can't knock him out in the first round or early in the second, it's just, I've never seen him do well outside of that.
Nate
Diaz is a one example, but that guy hits like pillows, so that's the only reason he made it 5 rounds.
Yeah, but I mean, his cardio was decent at the end, so yeah. I just don't think... I think he hasn't gone deep with anyone that's not a wrestler, though, so which is tough. But yeah, he won. He's the only guy to win a round against Khabib.
Yeah, he went 4 rounds with Khabib, which is all right. That's probably the last good performance we've seen from him. Even though he beat Cowboy, you can only count that.
You were hyped up about that. Oh, what a win for Conor. And I was like, bro, Cowboy sucks. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, it's now been proven that Cowboy was officially done at that point. So,
God, yeah, he got absolutely clobbered in that. But yeah. He lost to they were like hugging and he lost. He got knocked out by
he got shoulder strikes. Shoulder strikes, baby.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a great main event, and hopefully it's decent time. I know Perth is behind.
It's behind, yeah.
So yeah, maybe we get to the pub and give it a little view. I cannot be fucked to watch anyone else. So, but I might have a couple, warm ups. I won't be watching the sport. I won't be watching the fights, but I'll be warming up for the fight, the main event.
Right.
So. Yeah, that's the UFC wrap. Do you have anything else on the agenda?
No, that's it.
Well,
unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, well, obviously it's a great sort of week in sports for me. Kind of good. Obviously, he's a casual Man United fan, so he doesn't really care. But
casual. I'm the only one that rocks the jersey, like a proud fan.
Yeah, but you rock the jersey in our worst season ever. Like you're rocking the worst jersey possible.
You don't rock any jersey.
Because I'm not like a weird like. If you've ever been to a Man United game, you'd know that no actual fan that's not a tourist wears jerseys.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Every fans always wear jerseys.
I have them, but I'm not like strolling around in them. Like maybe if I don't know. It's just a bit try hard. I just wouldn't wear it. Like I just don't wear it. It's more like a memorabilia piece. Like I'll have it, but I've got the new away one actually. I love that one. I might have worn that, but it's in the wash. So, what can you do? I spilled coffee on it this morning. So,
right.
God, you hate when that happens. But anyway, hopefully the Super Bowl is great. Hopefully that's great entertainment. Obviously the UFC's coming up. Premier League fixtures are rise. Champions League's coming soon.
All-Star game with 0 All-Stars actually being healthy.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's injured for the All-Star game.
Steph Curry's out.
Lovely.
They're all out.
Fucking Kevin Love's going to be a replacement in.
Yes.
By the time.
Kevin Love.
So, yeah, hopefully have a great week. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, check it out.
Leave a subscribe.
On other Spotify if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on
can
Spotify,
you
check out on YouTube.
Subscribe on Spotify. Can you do that?
Can you do that?
Follow? I don't know what it's
Are
called.
you going to threaten them? Are you going to threaten
Can you
their
like
listeners?
donate to us? That would be nice.
We don't have any button for donate. How do we do that? just
know.
ring us up. Just like, hey, how do you donate?
Just leave a comment. And then
I'll donate $1 million.
We'll put our bank details in the.
We're gonna give
in the
full
chat.
back details, our bank carrier, everything.
Yeah.
So you can hack
you
us
can
as
just
well at the same time.
transfer us.
Or you can probably take money out of our account
tip.
as well. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully you enjoy your week and have a great day, kids.
Peace.
Aye aye.